Hi friends, welcome to the Weight Loss Stories by Serge channel, where we share inspiring weight loss stories. Today we have a new and very interesting story that will definitely motivate you. Share in the comments how you cope with challenges on your journey, and let's get started.
My name is Jacob Wilson. I'm 42, and I live in a Chicago suburb in a house with peeling paint and a creaky staircase to the second floor. Back in 2018, I was the guy you'd sidestep in the grocery store, 463 pounds, out of breath after 3 steps, wearing an XXXL t-shirt stretched tight as a drum. I hid mirrors behind towels because I couldn't stand my reflection. My life was an endless cycle of diets, pills, gyms, and promises. I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. I was trapped in my body, and each day tightened the noose. The story I'm about to tell begins with a question I posed to myself. What if there's a way no one talks about? Not a diet, not surgery, not a treadmill, but something so simple it sounds insane. In 2020, I found that way. It worked. I dropped 268 pounds in 2 years. I became a new man, fit, with a wardrobe that no longer resembled a tent. But there's a catch, and it ruined my life. I lost 268 pounds with vodka but became an alcoholic. This is my story, told like a documentary, with facts, small details, and a truth that makes you want to look away. My battle with weight started in childhood. I grew up in a family where food was a religion. Mom's cinnamon-soaked apple pies, Dad's sizzling grill steaks, Sunday dinners with 3 kinds of potatoes and gravy dripping down your chin. By 15, I weighed 265 pounds. Kids at school called me Whale, and I learned to laugh with them to keep from crying. By 30, I tipped the scales at over 440 pounds. My doctor, Dr. Richards, with his weary eyes, warned I was headed for diabetes, a heart attack, or a stroke. He prescribed diets, but I'd crash within a week. Keto, paleo, vegan, intermittent fasting, I tried it all. I even applied for, but they rejected me due to heart palpitations. In spring 2019, I stumbled across an article in about metabolism and alcohol. A University of Illinois study showed that moderate alcohol consumption could speed up metabolism by activating liver enzymes like alcohol dehydrogenase or ALDH. It hit me like lightning. I dug deeper. Ethanol, the key component in alcohol, can boost thermogenesis, the process where the body burns calories to produce heat. No one said this could be used for weight loss. It was my idea, my crazy, reckless idea. I started the experiment in March 2020, when the pandemic locked the world down. I was holed up at home, surrounded by pizza boxes, empty soda cans, and a sense of despair. My weight hit its peak, 463 pounds. I bought a bottle of vodka at the corner grocery store, Smirnoff, 80 proof, a plastic bottle with a blue label, reeking of alcohol through the packaging. My plan was simple. Drink 50 milliliters every evening, no chaser, to avoid extra calories. Vodka is pure ethanol, nearly carb-free, and it was supposed to rev up my metabolism. For the first few weeks, nothing changed. I sipped the vodka, wincing at the burn in my throat, and weighed myself every morning on old floor scales that groaned under my weight. But after a month, I saw a shift, 452 pounds. It was the first drop in years. I was ecstatic. I upped the dose to 100 milliliters, splitting it between noon and night. By June, I was down to 419 pounds. By September, 374. My metabolism, dormant for decades, had woken up. Each sip brought a warmth, like an invisible fire igniting inside me. I dove into the science. An article in the From 2019 explained that ethanol boosts mitochondrial activity, increasing energy expenditure. Vodka not only sped up my metabolism, but also curbed my appetite. I no longer craved pizza or chips. I drank vodka, chased it with water, and felt full. By the end of 2020, I weighed 308 pounds. My jeans hung like a sack. I bought a new belt and punched holes in it because even the smallest size was too big. My skin started to sag, but I didn't care. I saw progress. But warning signs crept in. My hands shook in the mornings until I had a shot. I got snappy, barking at my sister Linda over the phone. I told myself it was temporary, that I was in control. I kept a journal day 127, 150 milliliters, 297 pounds. My home turned into a lab. The kitchen was lined with bottles, a measuring cup, and a notebook of logs. I stopped seeing friends. My neighbor Tom, spotting me with a bottle, asked, "Jacob, you drinking?" I laughed it off. It's for science. But deep down I knew I was lying. By 2021, I was a different man. I weighed 220 pounds, the lightest I'd been in 20 years. I could walk 2 miles without gasping. I bought a bike and rode through the park, the wind ruffling my hair. Women smiled at me in the grocery store. Linda came up from Texas and cried, "Jacob, it's like you were reborn." I smiled, but fear was growing inside. I couldn't stop. If I skipped a dose, I shook, sweated, my heart pounding like a cornered animal's. I was drinking 200 milliliters a day, sometimes more. Hangovers became my shadow. I'd wake up with a headache like someone was hammering my temples. My eyes watered, my mouth tasted like metal. I'd chug coffee to pull myself together, but it didn't help. One day in April 2021, I went to the grocery store for vodka. My wallet was empty. I'd spent my last bucks on a bottle the day before. I wandered the aisles, my eyes locking on a bottle of Tito's on the top shelf, gleaming like a prize. My hands trembled, my head screamed, "Take it! No one will notice!" I reached out but froze. A security guard was watching from the end of the aisle. I left, burning with shame, but the thought of stealing lingered. It happened again a week later. I stood by the same shelf, clutching an empty wallet, picturing myself slipping the bottle under my jacket. I didn't steal, but I was close. I lost 268 pounds with vodka, but became an alcoholic, and now I was teetering on the edge of crime. I tried to fool myself. I bought fancy vodka, Grey Goose, Beluga, thinking it was somehow better. I read about addiction. In 2020 said alcohol alters dopamine receptors, creating a dependency cycle. I knew it was about me, but I didn't want to believe it. I saw a therapist, Dr. Claire Monroe. She was blunt. "Jacob, you're trading obesity for alcoholism. You need rehab." I walked out of her office and bought another bottle. By 2022, I hit my goal, 194 pounds. I looked like a model. My cheekbones stood out like an actor's. I posted a photo on Instagram, down 268 pounds. Never give up. It got 7,000 likes. People commented, "You're a hero." But no one knew the truth. I drank every day. Mornings to stop the shakes, afternoons to dull the anxiety, nights to sleep. My skin turned gray, my eyes dull. I lost my job at an accounting firm because I was late and botched deadlines. My girlfriend Sarah left, leaving a note, "I can't watch you die." Hangovers grew unbearable. In December 2021, I was back in the grocery store. I hadn't eaten in 2 days. All my money went to vodka. I wandered the aisles, hunger mixing with craving. I grabbed a Snickers bar and slipped it into my pocket. My heart raced, but I passed the checkout. No one stopped me. It was so easy. A week later, I stole a bottle of water, then a pack of nuts. I wasn't a thief, but hangovers turned me into someone else. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I lost 268 pounds with vodka but became an alcoholic, and now I was stealing to survive. In 2023, I tried to quit. I spent a month in a rehab center in Arizona. It smelled of bleach with walls plastered with New Life posters. I stayed sober for 22 days after discharge. Then I bought a bottle. Not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't not. My brain needed vodka like my lungs needed air. I fell back into the rhythm, 250 milliliters a day, sometimes more. My apartment became a dump. Empty bottles littered the couch, the kitchen, the bathroom. I stopped shaving, showering, living. Today in May 2025, I sit in my apartment reeking of booze and loneliness. I weigh 194 pounds, but it's no victory. My life is a bottle on the table, an empty fridge, and a phone that doesn't ring. I tried to save myself. Last year I went back to rehab but bolted after 2 weeks. I stole a bottle of whiskey from a store on my way home. The guard caught me but didn't call the cops. Just took the bottle and said, "Go home, man." I cried the whole way. I know this is the end, not the Hollywood kind with a heroic comeback. This is an end that smells of stale liquor and looks like a shadow in the mirror. I lost 268 pounds with vodka but became an alcoholic. The worst part? I don't regret it. If I could go back to 2020, I'd do it again. I wanted to live, not just exist in a body that was killing me. I paid a price and it was higher than I could have imagined. My story isn't a call to action, it's a warning. Sometimes salvation is a trap. I leave these words as my final confession. If you're reading this, don't make my mistake. Find another way. As for me, I finish my glass and stare out the window where Chicago lives its life. Out there beyond the glass there's still hope, but not for me.
Thanks for being with us. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time, friends. Bye.